We are
Great.
now.
Thank you. All right. Good evening, everyone. It is 6 p.m. Arizona time, July 9th, 2026. Welcome to tonight's public hearing. My name is Linus Kafka. I'm the zoning examiner for the city of Tucson. We have two cases scheduled for the public hearing tonight, and we're going to take the cases in the order that they're listed on the agenda. So my apologies, Mr. Moore. I know that you're in a later time zone, but we'll be going by the agenda's order. As zoning examiner, I conduct rezoning hearings on behalf of the mayor and council, and I make findings of fact, which I put into a written report along with my recommendation, which I send to the mayor and council for their consideration and for their final decision. My reports will be based on the information submitted to me, which includes the rezoning application, the staff report, all written approvals and protests, any correspondence and testimony given at the public hearing tonight. I'll also include in the record any documents submitted to me up to the close of the public hearing. Tonight's proceedings are being recorded. Because we're doing this virtually, I have some special instructions for the virtual hearing. Please remain muted until called upon. The clerk will mute all attendees at this point. Once the applicant's presentation is completed and any questions that I may have been also completed, I'll give members of the public the opportunity to testify. To indicate that you wish to testify, use the raise hand feature in Teams. It should be at the top of your Teams control bar. When called upon, unmute yourself, state your full name and address for the record, and please try to keep your comments to no more than 5 minutes, and then lower your virtual hand after you've spoken. For the rezoning cases tonight, I will complete a preliminary report within 5 working days after I close the public hearing. I'll then prepare a final report, which will be issued 14 days after the public hearing is closed. If you'd like to receive a copy of my recommendation or the reports and you're not listed as a party of record on the case, you can send an email to tucsonrezoning@tucsonaz.gov or call the city's Planning and Development Services Department. Copies should also be available from the Planning and Development Services Department website. The rezoning report will be sent to the mayor and council for the scheduled public hearing on each of the cases. The mayor and council will then vote on the matter based on my recommendation, along with all the other factors that they take into consideration. So here's how the public hearing will go tonight. PDSD will give their report. The applicant will then give their presentation. The public or members of the public will be called upon to testify in the manner that I described earlier. And then the applicant may respond to any issues raised by the further testimony. For those of you who plan to speak tonight, or even if you're not planning on speaking but feel you might be moved to speak later, I'd request that you now raise your hand and I'll swear you in. Do you swear to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth? Take that as a yes.
I do.
Oh, great. Thank you.
I do.
All right. Thank you. So the first case we have on the agenda this evening is case number TPENT-0426-00008, the El Toro Square, East Bellevue Street proposed development. And first we'll get the staff report from Mr. Slater.
Thank you. So this is a request by the Planning Center to rezone the northern half of an about 1.6 acre area at the northwest corner of Wilmot and Speedway, behind a large shopping center in the corner, from R1 to C2. The northern half of this area of several parcels is zoned R1. The front is zoned C2, so this would allow for contiguous commercial development across the entire site. The site was the location of a restaurant, which closed after a couple of fires in 2022 and 2024. The building at the time of report was planning to be demolished, but is, I think, at this point, been completely demolished. The preliminary development plan shows two commercial structures of 2-story each, one in the southwest corner of the property, one in the sort of east corner. The project team has thoughtfully moved the majority of the parking behind the structures to sort of like shield the parking use from the street and increase that sort of interactivity of the buildings with the public right of way and the community. The proposal conforms to land policy direction and Plan Tucson and the Arcadia Alamo area plan. The area plan in particular designates this set of parcels in the area around it as sub-area 1, containing policies encouraging this area to transition to medium density residential and high density office and commercial uses. So this also conforms to the area plan policy. The rezoning from R1 to C2 for the northern half of the site is appropriate for the location. It's compatible with existing surrounding land uses, conforms with the overlaying plan areas. We received 0 additional approval and 0 protest forms from the time of notification to this hearing. The applicant did provide several letters of support from nearby and adjacent property owners with their application materials. Subject to compliance with the attached preliminary conditions, approval of the C2 zoning is recommended by staff.
Thank you. And I've received those letters and they will be entered into the record. Ms. Willett, are you ready to present? Are you able to share your screen?
Is
Great.
that coming through?
Very
good.
Thank you.
Well, very good. Thank you so much, Mr. Kafka, for hearing our case this evening. For the record, my name is Lexi Willett, and I'm with the Planning Center, and we're located at 2 East Congress in downtown Tucson. On behalf of the property owner, we are really excited for the opportunity to be rezoning a portion of a property that has otherwise really served as a commercial site since 1947. This is the home of the former Casa Molina property, and the restaurant has been in operation since that time. However, as Mr. Slater noted, in 2022, a grease fire occurred that permanently closed that building, and the property owner has since struggled to develop it because of the split zoning. So to run through my presentation really briefly, because Mr. Slater covered a lot of it, this property is located at the northwest corner of Speedway and Wilmot, just west of the El Dorado Village Commercial Center, where it's got Trader Joe's, a variety of other personal service offices, and a Starbucks within it. And then to the east of or west of the property, we have a development which is known as Paw Commons, which, as represented in the aerial, it has since changed and redeveloped here, and it is an animal service use, so a doggy resort and daycare, etc. Just north of the area we are rezoning is Bellevue Street, and across the way there is a new multifamily development community that has since developed in there, and a variety of office and commercial uses on the other side there. And then just west of the rezoning area, we have some single family residences there. I do want to note that they are currently owned and will remain owned by the property owner who is rezoning the parcels of question today. And so there has been a lot of consideration given to those residences in our process here, and I'll get to that as we go through the preliminary development plan. But just to walk through the zoning, as Mr. Slater noted, the northern half of this property is currently zoned R1, and much of the parking that previously served the restaurant was in that R1 zone. And so redeveloping the C2 portion becomes extremely problematic when you can't utilize the R1 zone property for parking. And so part of this effort is to look at how do we position the C2 portion of the property to be more viable for development, as it is rather long and rectangular here. So what our proposal is to do is to rezone that northern portion to C2 to create a consistent zoning designation across the site here, and utilize the preliminary development plan that we have proposed as the guiding factor for demonstrating compatibility. So what we are proposing to do, I've flipped the preliminary development plan on its side for just readability purposes. So for everybody on the call, north is to the right of our screen here. But as Mr. Slated noted, the real intention of what we're trying to do is be mindful of the neighborhood characteristics on Bellevue while activating Speedway Boulevard. Speedway is a major street and route and is a community corridor eligible roadway here. And so our intention was really to bring a building closer to the roadway and activate that streetscape with landscaping, some bike spaces, as well as new sidewalk infrastructure that currently does not exist on the site. Of note in that northern portion is the bull and matador statue that I think the community has so greatly fallen in love with, if you will, and it's really become a piece of nostalgia for the community here. And so as noted in the zoning conditions that we've worked really closely with staff to prepare, our intention is to preserve that bull on site, whether it's in the existing location or somewhere in an open common area space visible. And if it is relocated, we will be documenting it and chronicling its original location and its importance to the community on site, because we feel, hence why we are calling this whole development El Toro Square, we feel that it's a great asset and marketing piece for the future development. So what it is we're proposing are two structures on the property that may be up to 2 stories in height, totaling to 32,000 square feet. And we're proposing a variety of uses. At this point in time, we don't have an end user, but we feel that given the existing area, that allowing for a mix of uses in order with the shopping center would be appropriate here. Parking on the site, we're providing what we believe would be necessary for these uses, but recognize that it currently falls short for the shopping center use. So our intention would be to go through an individual parking plan at the time of development, but that's fully dependent on the end uses at that time. So that's a condition as well of the request. And then just to point out some other things here along the western boundary, as I noted, where we have our residential neighbors there, in addition to a landscape border that we will be providing in there, that area will serve as our predominant conveyance for storm water, as that's where water currently flows across the property. And so we'll be picking up some of the water that is currently impacting the walls and these properties and directing that back out to Bellevue Street. The property owner did just repair some walls here, so the goal is to work with them in maintaining those either in their existing condition or installing new ones as we work through the process. But in a nutshell, we believe that this is a really great use for the area and presents some really unique opportunities to activate a rather intense space already. We've got a variety of multifamily uses that are 2-3 stories in height, so it makes a lot of sense in our mind to go with this. So without further ado, I welcome any questions and respectfully request your recommendation for approval to Mayor and Council.
Thank you for the presentation. You're in agreement with the preliminary conditions that were available to you from staff?
Yes, Mr. Kafka, we are.
I recently got an update on condition 7 with new language. And basically, my understanding is that the bull statue could be relocated. somewhere else on the site, still visible, but not necessarily from Speedway, but still publicly visible. And that's your understanding as well.
Yes, sir. And as I noted, we worked really closely with Mr. Beal and Desiree from the Historic Preservation Office to make sure that that was in line and worked for everyone.
Great, thank you. I don't have any questions. Is there anyone here from the public that has any questions regarding or any comments regarding this application? All right. I don't see any hands. So I'm going to close the public hearing in this matter. And, is somebody? Oh no, I think that was somebody's background noise. Okay, so the public hearing in case number TP ENT-0426-00008 El Toro Square is hereby closed. Thank you, Ms. Willett.
Thank you, Mr. Kafka.
The next case on the agenda this evening is case number TP ENT-0426-00009, Copper Avenue Partners, Copper Street. And I believe, Ms. Gayoso, you're going to be presenting the staff report in that case?
Yes, Mr. Kafka.
Okay, great.
So, good evening, Mr. Kafka. For those who don't know me and are hearing me, my name is Maria Galloso. I'm a principal planner for Planning and Development Services Department. I'm part of the entitlements team who reviewed this project. So the request is to rezone almost 8 acres of I1 light industrial, R2 residential zone property to I1 light industrial. The property is just north of Grant and west from I-10. The preliminary development plan shows over 100,000 square foot building with about 19,000 square feet of outdoor storage for commercial industrial warehouse uses. PDSD staff recommends approval to I1 subject to the preliminary rezoning conditions that were provided to you. The applicant did hold a neighborhood meeting back in April, and one neighbor attended, and members of the Ward 1 and Ward 3 offices also. Some answers were provided regarding to questions about traffic and the operations themselves that are gonna take place at the property. One thing to note is that a rezoning case was authorized by Mayor and Council back in 2014 for the same use to a different property owner. So an extension was authorized as well, but no building permits were issued, and so that's why they're back with a whole new rezoning application with some changes to the original preliminary development plan, but either way, this is a whole new, brand new application. The site currently is vacant, and I'm gonna let the applicant provide more details in their presentation. But both Plan Tucson and the Santa Cruz area plan do support the proposal for industrial uses, for commercial uses and office uses in this area, with design being compatible with the nearby neighborhoods. The nearest residence to this site is about 450 feet. So the applicant is providing, screening and landscaping. The Department of Transportation and Mobility, their traffic engineering division, was estimating that less than 20 new peak hour trips will be generated during the morning and the evening. And that's all I have. We received one protest that we already shared with you from an adjacent property owner that it's a business in the industrial area there. The main concern was traffic and parking on the street. And that's all I have, Mr. Kafka.
Thank you. Yes, I had a little deja vu. I think I remember the first iteration. Mr. Vasquez, are you going to be presenting this case?
Yes, I am.
Okay, great. Thank you.
Can you see my screen?
Yes, I can.
Thank you. My name is Stephen Vasquez, and I'm with Rick Engineering at 3945 East Fort Lowell Road. And on behalf of our client, Copper Avenue Partners, we're looking to rezone a parcel from R2 to I1. As Ms. Gasca noted, it's located at the intersection of Copper Street and Jackrabbit Road. It has an address of 1901 West Copper Street. It's approximately 7.8 acres, and it is currently vacant. The current land uses around it are, it's surrounded by industrial development to the east and south. There are 3 radio transmission towers to the west. There's vacant property to the north, which is owned by the Pima County Flood Control District. And the closest resident is approximately 450 feet southwest of the site. And the Silvercroft Wash separates the existing industrial commercial uses from the residential. The existing zoning, as mentioned earlier, is R2. To the east of the south is I1 with developed industrial uses, as noted, as I stated earlier. To the west is R2 with the 3 radio towers. And to the north is R2 and C1 with vacant Pima County flood control parcels. And to the southwest is R1. And again, just mentioning that's through about 350 feet southwest of the site and has been separated by the Silvercroft Wash. So, as mentioned earlier, the site zoning history, it was recommended for rezoning by the zoning examiner in October 2014. And the mayor and council adopted a rezoning ordinance in December of 2014. At that time, they had proposed 2 buildings, over 68,000 square feet, 2-story, but this project was not constructed. The mayor and council approved a time extension to December of 2024. And the the PDSD director did approve a minor modification to the PDP, which is associated with this rezoning case in July of 2023. However, the 10-year limit to effectuate the code requirements and the conditioning zoning were exceeded. Therefore, that's why we are here tonight. And our current owners have proposed a use as a pod storage facility and are requesting the rezoning to I1. The proposed development will have 105 square foot, 40-foot high indoor storage building and 1,900 square feet of exterior pod storage on the east side with associated vehicular area. There'll be a 10-foot wide landscape border and 6-foot high perimeter screen along the north and the west boundaries adjacent to the R2 zone. There is a 10-foot wide easement for landscaping obtained from the adjacent property owner along the southwestern property line to provide additional buffering to the residential neighborhood to the outside, on the outside of the 6-foot high screen wall, and that's located here. And again, it's approximately 450 feet from the storage building to the nearest resident. Here is the PDP, which indicates right here the location of the building, and the pod storage, outdoor pod storage of the vehicular use area will be along here. Well, we already have obtained the 10-foot landscape easement along this adjacent property owner. And it's approximately, as I said, 450 feet from the nearest residence to the proposed building. There is sewer capacity available per Pima County wastewater. It's within the Tucson Water Obligated Service Area. There has Tucson Electric Power has the ability to serve, as well as Southwest Gas Company. It is east of the Silver Cross Wash 100-year floodplain. It's not affected by the FEMA flood zone. It's defined as unshaded X, which is outside the 500-year floodplain. And the drainage by Tanner will be maintained, and the site will drain to the northwest. In terms of the traffic, it is estimated at 3.5 over the road trucks per day. The operating hours will be 6 p.m. to 4 p.m. with an average of 4 drivers per day. Drivers will spend a majority of their work days servicing customers throughout Tucson and occasionally will return to the warehouse as needed. Drivers on average will return to the facility 2 to 3 times, and those times are staggered, and they estimate approximately 1 to 2 customer walk-ins daily. All employees and all traffic, all trucks will be within the site, and they will not park outside the site area. Here are some renderings of the proposed building, again, which will be used by pods. And I'm happy to answer any questions you may have.
Thank you, Mr. Vasquez. Couple of questions. First, you and your client have reviewed the preliminary zoning conditions and agreed to those.
Yes.
Second is just to clarify for the record in the presentation, if you could bring your presentation back up, just because that'll be part of the record. I think there was just a small typographical error on the zoning map depicted in the presentation. Yeah, I think maybe that one. Yeah, so on your and the
the
yeah,
C2.
the C2, yeah. That I think that should be C1 if I'm not mistaken.
Correct.
Right. Okay. Yeah, just for a correction in the record. And I guess if you would have to do the presentation again to Mayor and Council. But just for the record, that is C1. And then finally, did you received a copy of the letter from the adjacent business regarding the concerns over street parking?
Yes, we did.
Okay. And I feel like you addressed that during the presentation, but if somebody wants to speak to that matter, I will now call on members of the public to raise their hand. Is there anybody here who'd like to speak on this matter? All right, I'm not seeing anyone, but I'm also not an expert on Teams. Ms. Montez or Mr. Beal, do you see anybody raising their hand? I don't see anybody.
No.
All right. Okay. Given the presentation, the follow-up questions, and seeing no one seeking to add additional testimony, I am hereby closing the public hearing in TP-ENT 0426-00009, Copper Avenue, Partners Copper Street. With that, I believe we are finished for this evening. Unless I'm mistaken, Mr. Beal, Ms. Montez, is there anything else that we have to address this evening?
No, there is not, Mr. Kafka.
All right. Well, I'll stay on until the meeting is terminated, but thank you everybody for your presentations and for your testimony. I will be issuing my preliminary report next Thursday.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Mr.
Thank
Koff.
you.
Thank you.
Thank
Thank
you.
you, everyone.